Hey y'all, coming at you with another video for the post-show series, and I wanted to talk about digestion. So post-show digestion can be all sorts of crazy to match your crazy brain. No, but seriously, afterwards people really struggle with this. So think about this. Depending on how long you've been dieting, you've probably been dieting for a decent amount of time to get stage lean, and you've most likely restricted certain food sources for a while, just based on, caloric, needs. Most, especially females, are gonna have to eat pretty low calorie to get lean enough. And then afterwards, you decide to throw a bunch of food at you, that your system that you haven't eaten for months. You decide to, or I mean, maybe you've had some of that stuff, but like not in that amount, and then not just like a little bit, but like a lot, like maybe the night of, and then the day after, and then maybe the day after and after. So basically what happens is now you've gone from like really low calorie, being very specific with food choices, most likely doing a good amount of cardio, just all these different things, right? Like all these, pretty healthy habits, and your digestion is probably decent, right? May not be the best because, as you diet, your digestion does slow, like your metabolism slows, everything kind of just like slows down in general. So it is normal to have slower digestion as prep goes on, but for all intents and purposes, like you're pretty stable most likely. And then you just throw all this crazy stuff on it. And then even if you have like reined it back in and you are eating pretty good, you're going to have, just more food. And so your body isn't used to that either. So what are some ways that you can make sure that like post-show digestion and like the weeks following are pretty up to par? So first and foremost, don't just completely neglect like all the food that you have been eating or the supplements that you've been taking. Like you don't want to just go from like doing all these awesome things to all of a sudden just be like, washing my hands of that, we're done, peace out. Yeah, that's like, your body will be screaming at you for that. You may or may not have developed some sensitivities to certain foods because you've cut certain ones out or just had very little. So foods that you do notice that like maybe you're more sensitive to, have in smaller amounts, that's key. So just, being a normal person, like eating normal healthy food still, even though you've dieted, is really key. Duh. But sometimes, trust me, I've been there where I'm just like, I don't want to look at my food scale. I don't want to look at like a healthy piece of anything. Like I'm just so done. But you really need to keep like those staples in. It's also, that will be helpful for like controlling your like total calorie intake as well, of course. So that's like a whole separate thing. But so really just kind of making sure that you're still having those foods that you were having those supplements that you were having, and keeping some consistency in there. Now, few other things that I find really helpful. 10-minute walks. I know I've made videos about that before, but taking 1 to 2 post-meal 10-minute walks, whether it's inside or outside, preferably outside for like nature benefits. But if you can't, whether it's raining or you're in an office or something, just get up and just move a little bit. That will help not only control blood glucose levels, but that will also help aid in digestion post-meal, which is crucial, what we're talking about, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 supplements, I guess 3, that I really find helpful are, so GDA is a big one. That stands for glucose disposal agent. So as you are entering the off season and you're most likely eating more carbs than you were before, your body kind of just down regulates processes for, metabolism and digestion because, well, you're not like using all those things. So when you throw a bunch of food at it, it can be like, oh my God, what the hell? And at this time, you're really sensitive to storing body fat as well. So what a GDA does is it essentially helps push the carbs that you've eaten from the meal to the muscle. And it's going to obviously store as glycogen there better. And be able to be utilized better instead of being stored as body fat. So I love them, and I will use them during prep for like high carb days and stuff. But towards the end, like my normal days don't really suffice to have a GDA. And I'm pretty sensitive at that point. But when you're adding all that food back in, I would say that that's a perfect thing to add. And number 2, I love, as you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, OptiGreens, Greens30, what's up? Hands down, my favorite product that First Form sells, which is crazy because like I used to be like, okay, we're having a greens, cool, whatever. It's 11 plus servings of different like fruits and vegetables and like just superfoods and all this awesome stuff that work. Trust me, you're not eating, and definitely not in that amount, as well as a digestive enzyme and probiotics. So it is an amazing, amazing formula. You will hands down notice a difference with your digestion when you take this regularly. Every single person has like decreased bloating, more regular movements, and you just feel a lot better. So those are 2 supplements that I use that are really awesome for digestion. And then another benefit that I've noticed from taking CBD is just kind of overall just a little bit better digestion. And I've noticed that since I've been taking it for about a year now. And I use it all throughout my prep. And I've talked to people who have like severe, just like stomach problems. I have like, mild digestive issues with, dieting, like that's normal. But some people who have like actual digestion problems, they use it, and that's like one of the only things that helps them. So that's been amazing. I would hands down recommend Cured Nutrition, because I've worked with them for a year and I know the company and I know the quality that they put behind their products. Kind of like the supplement market, the cannabis market is uncharted territory. So you really need to go to a good company that makes a quality product. So that's why I stand behind companies like First Form and Cured Nutrition. And then the other thing for digestion is just, this isn't really like a tip, but it's just, hey, give yourself, some time, stay on top of your water. That's huge. Being, normal hydrated, hydration status, normal foods, normal supplements, and just kind of give your body time. Like if you have gone through this really rigorous prep where like every day is like, you're depleted and you're tiny, and then, you throw all this stuff at it. Even if you do everything right, you're gonna, like if you watch the other video, like after the show, I recommend going out to eat, and then, it depends again, obviously context if you have another show or not, but going out to eat and, maybe Sunday it might be a little bit looser as well too, with like some other, just more foods. Whether it's like tracking or not tracking, but it's going to be higher calories, right? And so you have to give your body some time to like normalize that. It will, digestion will be slowed down. It will kind of be like, hey, what are we doing? What's going on? And if you change all the other things and then, you're just eating high calorie with like all these new foods, your body's not going to be very happy. So use those tips that I gave. I don't know how many that was, a few. I'm like trying to think as I'm like talking and no, can't happen. There was a few tips. You guys just heard them. Why am I the worst? And then lastly, just give yourself time. Okay, I know it might seem like life or death right after the show. You're just like, holy shit, every hour is like, I'm going crazy. It's normal, and especially if you're like bloated and distended, you're just like, fuck everything, my abs are gone. Give yourself a week or 2, things will stabilize, and your body will thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it and can't wait for you to join me for the next one.